Hello, good afternoon, everybody. This weekend in Canada, specifically, this weekend is the family weekend, the Family Day weekend, and so it's a long weekend. So I'm sure that everyone's busy trying to prepare for their family, trying to, whatever it is that they had planned. I'm sure you guys are executing on it. That's great. I'm wishing you a very, very happy weekend. And what better way to start it off than to talk about the 30th day of going live here at Discover with Spinati. Today marks day 30th on February 16th. It's currently 1:05 p.m. And today is day 30. Why is that significant? Because I've been doing live podcasting for the past 30 days. Every single day, I haven't missed a single day. I'm doing this for certain reasons. And the first reason is because I want to prove to anyone watching and everyone that's going to be watching that consistency with willpower and effort and research, but specifically consistency, is what it takes for you to improve and what it takes for you to land the life that you want to live. Now, one of the most challenging things that you could possibly do, and those people that are not on camera understand this, because it's hard to get on camera. So, if you're the person that, is kind of tossing and turning between going on camera and not going on camera, then you understand the struggle, because you understand that the only thing that's stopping you is fear. And so how to combat fear is to just do it, kind of like what Nike says all the time, and just do it. And so today, the just do it methodology has been happening for the past 30 days. And if you watch the past 30 days of me going live, you'll see some progress. And you'll see some changes in the way that I talk, in the way that I address the camera, the way that I address you. Hopefully it's more engaging, because that's the way that I'm planning it. And that's the way that, that certain tweaks happen over time. I was struggling with regards to what title I should give this 30th podcast. And I said, the first title was How to Get Yourself Out of a Rut. How to dig yourself out of a rut. And I thought to myself, I'm like, okay, that's great, but today is day 30. So I'm going to tie in these two things together. I'm going to tie in what's the significance of being consistent in something such as the 30-day live podcasting, with getting yourself out of a rut. Now, a lot of us, if not all of us, at some point of our lives, get into this rut. Okay, this rut of, you feel down, you don't feel like doing anything, you feel like everything's on your shoulders, you feel incredibly overwhelmed, and you don't know what to do. And that's basically called the rut, okay, where you kind of just have no energy, hope is very low, and you kind of just want to wait for your chance to happen, kind of like, just wait for a miracle or something like that. That's when you know that you're in a rut, when you're not actually putting in any effort. When you wake up in the morning and you don't actually bounce off of your bed, and you kind of just lay there, hit the snooze button many times, you're in a rut. So how do you get yourself out of a rut? How do you escape that ridiculous mind frame that no one should be in, no one deserves to be in? How do you get out of that? Because that's really important for you to live the life that you want. I mean, we all have a very finite amount of time on this planet. And what worst way for you to spend it than to spend it in a rut, than to spend it thinking that you cannot change your life, that you cannot live life on your own terms, that you cannot live life happy. That is the worst way to live the very finite time that you have on this planet. So here it is. The first one, and these are three things. Okay, everything that I try to give is practical. The first one is willpower and consistency. Now, I told you I started off with consistency because that is the 30th live today. And so I proved to you that consistency does exist, and you'll see it because, as the title says, and I decided this yesterday, that the plan is to go to 300. Okay, I'm going to do this every single day for 300 days. And here's an added bonus. I actually started interviewing people. So now I'm interviewing, more and more people, and soon you're going to see it air, and soon you're going to see more, but I am not going to let go of me doing lives. That does not replace me doing lives. So you're going to see a ton of incredible content, not just coming from me, but also coming from my guests who are going to come on the show on Discover with Spinati. So it's going to be fantabulous, if I may say so. Willpower and consistency. What does that have to do with getting out of a rut? If you look at cats, animals in general, but specifically cats, if you look at cats, and there are certain videos where cats are faced by snakes. And if you look at the sturdiness, the sheer fearlessness of the cat when it faces the snake, it doesn't move. But as soon as the snake attacks, that's when the cat jumps. Now, if the cat had no willpower, or it kind of just like gave up and it's like, okay, yeah, I'm faced with a snake, it's gonna bite me. There's no sense in me trying to escape. Then the cat would obviously get harmed and die. Similarly to us, if we allow the snakes of our life, whatever the snakes are, whether they're people or they're problems in your life, whatever it is, if you allow the snakes to kind of attack you and you not maintaining composure, and then as soon as the snakes attacks, that you're ready to bounce and you're ready to not allow the snake to touch you, you're going to get bit by the snake. Now, you think that if the cat didn't have hope and didn't have willpower, do you think the cat would be able to escape from the snake? No, of course not. It has enough confidence in itself for it to be able to bounce out of the way from the snake. And so it's very hard for the snake to actually bite the cat because the cat will not allow it to. The cat has a lot of willpower. Consistency, and this is built into the instinct of the cat, and it's built into the instinct of all of us, okay, whether you're a human or whether you're a cat. But the cool thing about human is that we have the choice to do more than just what we are instinctually meant to do. So yes, instinctually, we have the fight or flight mechanism, and I just described that. But there's also the preparedness, to be prepared. This type of choice allows you to get out of a rut. Now, if you are in a rut, how do you then say to yourself, well, I need to be consistent in something? It's as simple as this. Just do it. It's literally that simple. You don't have to think about it. The more you think about it, the more you're going to paralyze yourself. I'll give you an example with regards to Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan practiced every single day, no fail, every single day during his entire career. No fail. And that is why he's actually known to be one of the best. And he consistently practiced at an incredibly high intensity for years until he won. He was asked, has he ever feared losing in a game? Has he ever entered into a game with fear? And he said, absolutely not. Fear is a result of lack of preparedness. Fear happens because you don't have confidence, and confidence happens because you're not prepared. Nervous, yes. He said he does feel nervous, absolutely. But fear, it's almost impossible. Kobe was also asked the same thing. He said, no, there's no such thing as him being afraid because he's done the exact same movements. He's practiced the shot, the movement, the pivot, the drills 1,000 times. So what's one more time? So nervousness, yes. Being nervous, absolutely. And nervousness is actually a good thing because it gives you more energy for you to perform at the highest level. Because when you get nervous, that, what people now describe it as anxiety, is actually a good thing because it's giving you energy from nowhere. So simply because you're thinking about something that perhaps you may not be familiar with, now all of a sudden your alertness is heightened. So now you have incredibly amount more energy, and now you can perform at a higher level. And now everything that you've done in preparation and all the consistent efforts that you put in will now give you the fruits of all your labor at that instant. Consistency. Consistency is what will get you out of a rut. And the best way for you to do anything is just to do it. As soon as you think to yourself, what if this happens? If I make a mistake, if I don't do as well as I want to, people are going to say this and that and the other. Whatever it is that you're going to say, that's going to stop you from getting out of a rut. So you have the entire control of getting yourself out of a rut. I'll give you something I just thought of right now with regards to what people will say. I say this whatever I think about, if someone else is saying, or literally if someone does say something to me. Someone literally told me yesterday, they thought, they literally called me fat. They said, "You're fat." And I just looked at them and I said, "Okay, that's cool." And I thought about it. And I said, "It's funny. It's funny. I don't consider myself fat. But it's funny that every person has two lips and an opinion. There is no such thing as a person without an opinion. And so people will walk around with two lips and one opinion, at least one. So you can't escape it. And if you're going to let that bother you, then you're not going to progress. You're always going to stay in a rut. You're not going to be consistent. You're not going to build your confidence, and you're not going to be able to exercise your willpower. So step number one to get out of a rut is for you to seek consistency in any action whatsoever, even if you're not confident at it from the beginning, which you will not be. The second, and this might be a little bit controversial because I know there's a lot of things that, are against this, but I really am a proponent of it, is isolation. You have to really isolate yourself. And you have to isolate yourself because there is no way for you to improve in the presence of other people. There's a lot of work that needs to be done by yourself on your own time without the encouragement of people, without people being around you, without you being around excellent people. Because in order for you to get to that level, to get to the level of excellence, you have to put in a ton of work. And isolation is the only way to do it. Again, Michael Jordan. Michael Jordan, the reason I really adore this man is because he is the epitome of excellence. People have used his name as the symbol of a standard whenever they are building a business, whether they're talking about some other person in the sport, like in another sport, like this person is the Jordan of tennis. This person is the Jordan of MMA fighting. This person or this business is, the Michael Jordan of all businesses, because Michael Jordan built such a high standard that people are now looking at him as the example when it comes to human optimization. That's why I keep mentioning him. And I keep thinking about, certain things that he's done because he was so obsessed with becoming the best that he did absolutely everything for him to become the best. And he achieved it. So he said, with regards to, isolation, he said, be your own best friend. Be your own partner when you go to the coffee shop. Be your own person when you're studying. Be your own be your own partner or your own study partner when you're in a learning zone. Be the person who you are. Be the person who is going to give you the best advice. Michael Jordan is. I take his words as, when you see someone get to a certain echelon, and you look at that, and people everywhere look at that and they say to themselves, wow, a human being can actually achieve that. You only you wonder, you're like, what did he do different than everybody else that hasn't been able to reach that level? And one of them is that he isolated himself. So if you actually watch The Last Dance, for instance, which is his last documentary that was done about him, you'll see a lot of instances where he actually isolated himself. You're not going to see a lot of times when he was hanging out with people. You're going to see a lot of times when he wasn't. But that's the only way for you to get out of a rut, is for you to embrace loneliness, to embrace it and to recognize that without loneliness, you won't achieve that high standard of life that you're looking for. And the last but certainly not least, and this is incredibly important, I would say, if not more important than the first two, is find yourself a new network. Because if you're stuck there's a reason why you're stuck. It's because now you're comparing yourself to a certain level of people. Or maybe you're watching certain videos on YouTube and you're feeling down on yourself because you see other people that are more successful than you. But if you are surrounding yourself with like people who are with you and you can interact with them, but they are on a higher level than you, then you become the small fish in a big pond. You become that new fish. Well, that new fish, because of your nature, all of a sudden now you want to belong to that group of people. So, for example, if you are looking, the fastest way for you, for instance, to get into shape, if you're out of shape, is for you to surround yourself with at least 5 people consistently who are in shape. There is no quicker shortcut than for you to get to a state of fitness that you're looking for without you associating yourself with 5 people that are fit to your standard. Same thing comes with wealth, or same thing with, if you have a lot of, for instance, funny friends, people that, uh, they're very lighthearted, and you want to become more lighthearted, hang around those people. That is the hack of life, is for you to find people who have the characteristics that you're looking for, and then hang out with them, spend more time with them. And then all of a sudden you'll see that you're going to become like them. There is a proverb that is very, very well known, and it says, you are the average of the 5 people you most associate yourself with. That also includes what you watch, by the way, because no one talks about that. But if you're constantly watching certain things, if you're watching depressing shows, if you're watching, the news all the time, if you're watching things that cause you to have fear, well, I mean, what state do you think you're going to be in? You're going to be in a state of depression and fear. But if you're watching things that make you laugh and, that bring joy to you, you're going to be at a more elevated state. Same thing with who you interact with, even if it's family members. If you have family members that are not very joyful, well, how the heck are you going to be joyful if you hang around with them so much? So you have to find a certain network of people. Now, how do you do that? There are tons of ways to do it. The easiest way actually is to go on Facebook and to literally join some network groups, whether it's fitness networks, whether it's business networks, whether it's, comedy, whatever it is. There are so many groups on Facebook that you can join, and you can start interacting with people, and then you can build your own network of friends. And they don't even have to be close friends. They can just be people that you're going to hang around with, so that that, okay, this group actually exists. So it's not just something that I'm seeing on the internet. It's not someone that's probably lying to me on YouTube or lying to me on some blog. No, these are actual people that are living the standard of life that I'm looking to live, and we talk about it. So that is the quintessential way for anybody to get out of a rut. As a matter of fact, now that I think of it, I would probably say the first thing for you to do, if you feel confident enough, is for you to build that network. Once you build that network, then you will automatically, those two other things will automatically tumble into effect. But since I started it, I'm going to finish it in that order. So the first is willpower and consistency. There is no such thing as getting out of a rut without having true willpower and consistency in doing anything that you are trying to accomplish. And my example of doing these live podcasts for 30 days and then aiming now to do it as a 300th challenge is the example of willpower and consistency. So hopefully you see this as something that will motivate you and say, hey, if this guy can do something like that, why can't I do it? The second is to actually embrace isolation. Embracing isolation allows you to get really nitty-gritty with yourself, allows you to detox, allows you to really kind of love yourself a lot more. Because when you spend a lot of time by yourself, and you're spending a lot of time by yourself and being productive, over time, you're building self-confidence. And with that self-confidence, obviously comes self-love. And with self-love breeds more self-confidence. And so, that loop continues. So that's the second thing, is embrace isolation. And the third, but certainly not least, is for you to get a good network of people around you. People that you're trying to emulate, people who have gone to the level that you're trying to get to, because we're all on this journey in we're all on this journey in each, everyone has their own path. So when you find people that have achieved, then you hang around with them, and then intrinsically, because you're hanging around with them, now you have a different standard. I hope this helped. I really want to wish you a very good long weekend. This weekend is going to be hopefully very phenomenal for you and your family, and hopefully you're tuning in regularly. And if not, and this is one of those videos you're going to watch, I wish you well all the time. So stay well, stay good, stay merry, and always keep smiling. Have a good weekend.